End all, and that all these poo-poo
But now
coins,
you
as
have
you
the
call them, had no value.
infrastructure. You have the infrastructure saying, I'm an institution. What do I need to own? No poo-poo coins, just...
Tokenization is the idea of using then smart contracts or tokens.
So, we haven't filed. We did file for a Flare ETF, which is really low on the cap table, and that's another discussion.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags, and they want all them empty.
We got a potential Flare ETF. Also, it's XRP, the poo coin. Institutions just looking at
XRP,
Bitcoin and Ethereum. But first, we got one from XR, Brad Garland House, Gary Gensler. You still there? Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News, good glitches. And as always, nothing in this video is financial or investment advice. Please always do your own research. You know what's coming. They know what's coming. And they can't stop it. Bank XRP. The next wave is closer than you think.
Tokenization is the idea of using then smart contracts or tokens on chain to be able to that represent, say, an underlying security. And so then that tokenized security is a security and would be subject to SEC rules by law. But the idea is that if it's on chain, on a blockchain, then there's much more transparency as to where it is. Right now, there's a bit of opacity as to who owns what and where the company usually doesn't even know where its who its shareholders are and where the shareholders reside, where the shares reside. So tokenization has the benefit of potentially having, instead of T+1 now trade date +1 for clearance and settlement, the prospect of maybe T0 now, depending on the instrument, and we have to think about netting and all sorts of other things with respect to some instruments. But in principle, the idea of on-chain delivery versus payment and receipt versus payment, DVP, RVP on-chain, is a prospect of de-risking the markets, making them much more transparent and then sure as far as clearance and settlement, because it's always that the gap between clearance and settlement and then delivery and payment is the real introduces risk into the system.
Do you expect this is where financial services is going? Are the major banks and the brokers out there today moving increasingly toward tokenization?
Oh, absolutely. And it's the way the world will be, here in the, maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from now. So I think that all of this modernization of the markets, I think, is good. And the trouble that we've seen here over the past few years is that the SEC, unlike historically, it never was necessarily at the vanguard of pushing new innovations. It was always a little bit behind the market, of course. But here recently, it's been almost standing athwart the marketplace, and as it's as all these new innovations were coming about. So that's no more. We're actually embracing it, and I believe that we need to be embracing it to keep the United States at the forefront as far as cryptocurrencies and whatnot. There were really only 2 countries in the world here in the last few years that were working to make cryptocurrencies illegal, and that was Communist China and the U.S. through the SEC. So that's changed. It's a new day now, and so we want to embrace this new technology.
Altcoin Daily, Kevin O'Leary, the big money is about to come in. You have the institution saying, what do I need to own? No poo-poo coins, just Bitcoin and Ethereum? What about XRP?
Most of us that are in this market are assuming the Clarity Act will follow through sometime in Q1 or 2, which is moving through another Haggerty and others driving this. They worked on the Clarity Act. And this exchange is a good thing because it shows the government's backing it and it'll be compliant. But here's the one thing that's changed that people should understand. There are thousands of altcoins or rat coins they're called, and poo-poo coins, it turns out that even though some of them have a use case, if you're an investor and now all of a sudden you get the Clarity Act and you're an institution and you decide to put a 3% to 5% weighting like you would in gold, I'm talking pension and sovereign wealth funds, the data tells you something very stark. It says all you have to own to capture 90% of all of the crypto market's alpha or pricing volatility is simply Bitcoin and Ethereum. You don't need anything else. And so this is really, really hard medicine for all of the people that sponsored all of these other chains and other platforms, because now they face the reality, which I think is a cleansing, a good thing, a spatula cleaning from all that poo-poo coin out there that's just pure speculation. But it also says the maturity of the market is looking at the numbers because the big money's about to come in. So if you were just in Bitcoin and Ethereum over the last 8 weeks, you've done so much better than own the poo-poo coins. And the poo-poo coins aren't going to come back unless they can give you a use case and they have to have tens of millions of dollars in marketing. Jack, you just called for the price of Bitcoin. That is universal around the world. The only other call is on Ethereum, and no one else gets that ticker you just called for.
Right.
They have to market it. They have to buy it.
Made that case from the beginning of this, that Bitcoin really was the be-all and end-all, and that all these poo-poo
But now
coins,
you
as
have
you call
the
them, had no
infrastructure.
value.
You have the infrastructure saying, I'm an institution. What do I need to own? No poo-poo coins, just Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Banking giant Western Union CEO said live on Bloomberg that they'll provide crypto on and off ramps. It's happening.
What's the rollout looking like for Western Union on that front?
Well, we're already innovating in several places in the world on moving money and settling. So both in South America and in Africa, we are innovating our settlement processes to move money quicker and to more easily convert into local currency in partnerships with some of the infrastructure companies you've had on this show. So we are also exploring other partnerships with people who want on-ramps and off-ramps in different parts of the world on how we could enable Western Union's funds in and funds out to enable people to purchase and sell stablecoins. Finally, we're investigating how we might offer stablecoin products in our digital wallets to our customers around the world, again, in partnerships with many of the companies that you've talked to over the course of the last couple of weeks.
What's the balance between this push into that space, and not just with regards to crypto, but overall the more digital strategy that I know you and your team at Western Union have been working on for some time, the balance between that and what we see in the traditional retail side of the business?
Right, and so we have about $1 billion revenue digital business. It's growing obviously at faster rates than our traditional retail business. We also think of our retail business not just as cash. So retail is a value proposition where you can have in-person service. People will fund with bank products, cards.
We got a TechReam filed for a Flare ETF, even though Flare is still a small cap because it offers strong product potential.
Are you thinking about other options? Pardon my French on that, but other ways of using other digital assets? There's been a lot of talk about income. You guys were early on the leverage side. You guys don't stand still. What are you guys thinking?
So, we haven't filed. We did file for a Flare ETF, which is really low on the cap table, and that's another discussion. But I think there's a lot of options that can be had. We've intentionally chosen not to play the spot game because those are big players that gather big assets for almost no fees. We're a tiny little shop. I can't do things for free. Okay, and so I do regret, honestly, not having done an XRP physical ETF because we've built a name in the XRP community, and so we probably would have attracted a good amount of assets there. But so be it. It's what it is. I think there'll be more to come. There'll definitely be more crypto plays to come. And our white label, where we do things for other people, that's actually a very big deal. And you'll see, as you've seen the filings come out for a lot of well-known crypto names that are using us as their white label, you'll see a lot of different products coming out from 2 Gram.
We got one from Stellar, stablecoin payouts and how they scale global payroll on the Stellar network.
Let's talk about just the idea, and think about CFOs and operational leaders listening to this. You're working with AI companies like Sapien, BPO firms, freelance marketplaces, companies managing global workforces at scale. So since launching with Bridge in March 2024, nearly 50% of your enterprise payout volume flows through this integration. And those numbers I mentioned before, the 250,000 recipients across 150 plus countries, when you're in the room with the head of finance or a VP of operations who's dealing with and doing the payroll the traditional way for years, what's the conversation? What are they optimizing for, and how do you make the case for stablecoin payouts?
Honestly, and I have to be frank, I think that the CFO is probably just into making more money. The world of payments is one where people exchange value with each other to be able to monetize value more. And so I think what moves the needle, frankly, is our revenue shares. And we allow people to monetize payouts that they do.
And the longer they take, the higher we keep climbing. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in for another Moon O'Clock News update. Nothing in this video is financial or investment advice. Check the links in the description. Smash the likies and subscribies on the way out. We'll see you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Citizen overseas, surfing in that liquidity like some jet skis. Super yacht pouring up with the family. Golden passports, they can't tax me. XRP a few G's. Going dual citizen overseas, surfing in that liquidity like some jet skis. Super yacht pouring up with the family. Golden passports, they can't tax me. XRP a few G's. Money kinda keep on counting. Rocket ships, yeah, we out T. Clown faces looking melty. Probably sad you was doubting. Headed up, no rerouting. Getting drops in them pools, so much room, feel like we drowning. When the masses institutions come, it's gonna be overcrowding. Getting bags as a young